What happens when a man with nothing takes everything? No royal blood, no powerful allies, no army. Just dirt under his nails, fury in his heart, and a name no one had heard before. Ivaylo, a peasant, or maybe a shepherd, or maybe something else entirely. His story is tangled in myth, fear, and rebellion, but what he did was very real. In the late 1200s, while kings schemed in golden halls and emperors played chess with armies, one barefoot man rose from the dust. He didn't just challenge an empire, he became its ruler. And how it all ended, that's the part no one saw coming. The year was 1277. Bulgaria was a country bleeding from every side. To the north, Mongol raiders swept through the countryside, burning farms and taking whatever they pleased. To the south, the Byzantine Empire constantly meddled, sending troops and spies to destabilize what little order remained. And within Bulgaria itself, corruption. The nobles, known as boyars, hoarded what was left, hiding behind their castle walls while peasants starved in the fields. The government was weak. The Tsar at the time, Constantine Tik, ruled in name only. Crippled from an old injury, he was a puppet in a country full of wolves. The people had no food, no protection, and no hope. But that's when something strange happened. A man, Ivaylo, began organizing the people. No one knew exactly who he was. Some claimed he was a shepherd. Others swore he had once served in the army. A few whispered that he was secretly of noble blood, abandoned or hidden away. What mattered was this: he could speak to the common people like no one else. And more importantly, he could fight. Ivaylo didn't wait for permission. He gathered angry villagers and hungry farmers and formed something no one expected: a peasant army. They didn't wear armor. They carried tools and rusty blades. But they moved fast, struck hard, and disappeared into the forests before anyone could stop them. The Mongols came again, expecting the usual terrified peasants. Instead, they were met by Ivaylo's ambushes. Surprise attacks in the dead of night, flaming arrows raining from cliffs, deadly traps, hidden in narrow passes. And somehow it worked. Ivaylo's ragtag force beat the Mongols not once, not twice. Again and again, word spread like wildfire. Someone was finally standing up for the people. Villages threw open their gates. Towns joined the cause. Farmers became soldiers. The rebellion wasn't just surviving, it was winning. That's when Ivaylo did something no one saw coming. He marched directly toward the capital, Veliko Tarnovo. The ruling Tsar, Constantine Tik, laughed at first. A peasant leading an army? But when Ivaylo's forces broke through his defenses and cut down his elite guards, the laughter stopped. In a final clash, Ivaylo personally defeated and killed the Tsar in battle. Just like that, the throne was empty. And instead of placing a noble puppet in power, Ivaylo made his move. He married the Tsar's widow, Empress Maria, and claimed the throne himself. A peasant, now ruler of Bulgaria. To the people, he was a hero. To the nobles, a nightmare. Power didn't bring peace. The Byzantines were furious. A commoner ruling a neighboring kingdom? Unacceptable. The Mongols, humiliated by earlier defeats, saw an opportunity to strike again, so they both attacked. Ivaylo found himself caught between two empires. No formal army, no secure alliances. Just the loyalty of the people and his unmatched strategy. Instead of facing the invaders head-on, Ivaylo used guerrilla warfare. He lured Byzantine troops into narrow canyons and wiped them out. With surprise attacks, he fortified mountain strongholds where Mongol cavalry couldn't reach. He used fog, darkness, and terrain like weapons. Every time they thought he was finished, Ivaylo returned stronger. Even his enemies began to respect his tactics. In some Byzantine letters, he was called the Bulgarian lion. But even lions can be hunted, especially when the threat comes from within. Ivaylo's battlefield victories couldn't change one fact: the boyars hated him. To them, he was a stain on the throne. No lineage, no titles, just a peasant who dared to wear a crown. While Ivaylo defended the country from foreign invaders, the boyars plotted behind his back. They whispered to the Byzantines. They sent letters to rivals. They sabotaged supplies. They questioned his every move. The empress, his wife, began pulling away. Once an alliance of survival, their marriage turned cold, and Ivaylo, now surrounded by enemies on all sides, began to lose ground. In desperation, Ivaylo made a bold and dangerous move. He turned to his former enemy, the Mongols. More specifically, to Nogai Khan, a powerful Mongol warlord with influence over Eastern Europe. Ivaylo traveled to Nogai's camp, alone and unarmed. He asked for troops, support, a second chance. Nogai smiled, offered him food, a seat at the table. But behind the scenes, Byzantine agents were already working, whispers in Nogai's ear. Ivaylo is a problem. Support him, and you'll anger Constantinople. Eliminate him and you'll gain favor. The feast was a trap. One moment, Ivaylo was raising a cup of wine. The next, he was surrounded. Some say he was stabbed in the back. Others claim he was strangled. The details were lost, but the result was clear. The peasant king was dead. No trial, no war, just a quiet execution in a foreign land. Back in Bulgaria, the boyars quickly replaced him with a noble-backed ruler. The Mongols withdrew. The Byzantines stopped meddling, at least for a time. And just like that, Ivaylo disappeared from history, or so they hoped. But Ivaylo's story didn't die. Peasant songs in Bulgaria began to tell of a man who rose from nothing, a man who fought for justice, who beat the Mongols, who became king through strength, not birthright. Even today, historians debate who he really was. Was he truly a shepherd, or was the peasant label political propaganda? Some digs suggest he may have had military experience or even hidden noble origins. But in the end, does it matter? What Ivaylo did, organizing a successful peasant revolt, defeating two foreign powers, and sitting on a royal throne, was nearly unheard of in medieval Europe. His story cuts through centuries like a blade. He wasn't born into power, he seized it, and the system that feared him the most made sure he wouldn't keep it. But they couldn't erase him. Ivaylo's rise reminds us that sometimes power doesn't come from palaces. It comes from pain, from fury, from people who have nothing left to lose, and in those rare moments when the forgotten rise, even kings should be afraid. If this story grabbed your attention, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more forgotten rebellions and lost legends. Drop a comment. Do you think Ivaylo was really a peasant? Or was the truth hidden for centuries?